An outrageous situation happened to a third grader where a teacher engaged in absolute Christian bigotry. We're going to be talking about it on Faith and Freedom. I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Richard Mast, litigation counsel for Liberty Counsel. Richard, this is a situation involving a third grader, and we'll just call her a third grader at this point in time. But she was attending a school in Pennsylvania, and her teacher had an assignment to describe certain facts about herself. And to the question, what is the best thing about you, this girl, Elena, answered, I'm a Christian.
Correct.
She asked the question, what's the best thing about you? And the little third grader answers on this assignment, I'm a Christian. And what does the teacher do?
Well, the teacher took a big red pen and crossed out Christian and inserted in red lettering, I'm not a picky eater.
So everyone is given this assignment, and they're asked multiple different kinds of questions.
Correct.
And this little girl, to the question, what is the best thing about you, responded, I'm a Christian. And the teacher said, no, you can't do that. She scratches through that word Christian, and she says, now you need to answer this, I'm not a picky eater.
Right. Well, the assignment was called Proud to be Me, and it told different features about them, like what is her favorite sport. She likes playing soccer, and she has, she likes her favorite animal is a dog. And so all these things are different features that each little child will answer that make them unique individuals. And all of these assignments were going to be put on the wall so that parents or anybody who came through would be able to see them. And this is what she wrote. She wrote that she's a Christian.
And another question was, what do you think you can improve upon? And so this little third grader responds and says that she could improve upon telling people about Jesus. But the teacher didn't like that either.
No, she scratched that out and put learning division facts.
I think I can get better at learning division facts. It's completely different. I mean, it's not even anywhere close to what Elena ultimately responded to.
Correct.
And so can you imagine here you have a third grade teacher, and you're a third grader, and I remember some things that happened when I was in first or second grade. I remember a thing when I was in first grade, and teacher brought me up front, and she commended me for waiting in line and not butting in front of other people when I was wanting to ask the teacher a question. And I remember that. It was something that was a compliment that she did to me in front of the entire class. Now, conversely, you got a third grader, very similar in age, and now your teacher comes and says, oh, you can't say I'm a Christian, and you can't say that the thing that you want to improve on is telling about Jesus, telling people about Jesus. The impact that would have on you is incredible.
No, it is. It's just, you have a little child here who has a sensitive spirit to the things of God, and enough that this is on the forefront of her mind. This is not a canned response or something like that. This is something that this little child did on her own, and she did it in good faith, and she's just speaking from the heart. And Jesus talks about those who would cause little ones to stumble. I think this is a perfect example of that.
But it doesn't stop here, because this was an assignment, and then there's another incident that happens, and this is now in the next semester of the school. The first one was in the fall of 2011, and this was now in the spring of 2012. And Elena gave a fellow student a Bible to read during recess. And when the teacher, same teacher, spotted the Bible, what did she do?
Well, she immediately, said, where'd you get this? And it came out, Elena gave it to me, and she went to Elena and said, you can't be handing out a Bible to other students on school property. That you're not allowed to do that.
Unbelievable. So she finds out, she out of all the other things that the students bring to school, she targets and zeroes in on the Bible, traces down its original source again to Elena, and then comes back to Elena and says, you can't bring Bibles on school property.
Correct. She was saying, there's got to be some in effect, there's this special
separation of church and state issues.
Yeah.
And now, but that doesn't stop there either. Because something else happened, and this was a song for an upcoming talent show.
Correct.
And what happened in that?
Well, her father contacted us and let us know what was going on, and we sent a letter to the school district because the teacher said no religious songs are allowed. If you want to sing a song, you can pick any song out there. But when Elena said, well, I want to sing this one Christian song, and it wasn't even particularly what you'd think of as a church song. It was just a normal praise and worship contemporary song that is not particularly mind-blowing of anything like that.
So what we have is this one teacher in third grade to Elena. She has done repeated religious bigotry actions against her. First of all, scratches out "I'm a Christian," changes it with "I'm not a picky eater," scratches out telling people about Jesus, changes that with "I think I can do better at learning division facts," and then also tells Elena you can't bring a Bible on school property, and then tells Elena you can't sing as part of the talent song a Christian song.
Correct.
This is Liberty Counsel sent a demand letter to this school district, and now we're going to be moving forward beyond that if this school district doesn't respond properly. And in fact, originally, back in the fall of 2011, the principal was ultimately contacted because of this original incident. And the teacher apologized for censoring Elena's responsive message, but doesn't seem like there's been any real action that's been taken.
No, I mean, that's what's so outrageous about this is that they were informed, the teacher apologized, the principal was given resources that explained the concept of students' rights in this context and promised never to do it again, and yet in the next semester we have this happen.
You have it happen twice. You have it happen with regards to the Bible, and you have it with regards to the song. And in each one of these things, I mean, there's not only constitutional principles here, but there's also the federal guidelines that deal with religious discrimination or speech in schools. And it says specifically, and certainly the case law would support this as well, that if there is an assignment that's there, and in this particular case there was an assignment, what is the best thing about you and what you can improve upon, and they answer, you can't censor that. The other thing is that clearly students have a right to be able to distribute religious literature during non-class time, and that's essentially what Elena did. And then finally, if there are a talent show and the other students are allowed to select their own particular music, obviously as long as it's not going to be defamatory against someone, but if they can select their own particular music or they can do their own dance or however they want to do their own skits, that's student speech, not school speech. They have a right to be able to do it. In all three areas here, this teacher and this school have clearly violated the constitutional rights of the student.
It's absolutely. I mean, the teacher even came back and said that when she said nothing religious, she didn't really mean nothing religious. She just meant that she didn't want songs that were sung to have curse words or foul language in them, or that students would sing a song that would make other students feel bad because their religion is better than someone else's.
You know, all of that is just nonsense excuses. The fact is that this teacher in the school needs to be taught a lesson, and that's why Liberty Counsel is here, to be able to help someone like this third grader and the parents here in this case. If we weren't here to help in that situation, you'd have this teacher just run roughshod over this student and their parents, and we've seen that in other places as well, where the teachers just want to run roughshod over these students, and we've been able to come in to ultimately set the record straight. Go to Liberty Counsel's website to learn more about not only these kinds of issues, but other issues as well affecting your family, faith, and freedom. And you can ask for the Patriot's Handbook on American freedom or liberty, which is the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, and Patrick Henry's book or essay or his speech, Give Me Liberty and Give Me Death. And also we have the Patriot's Handbook with regards to students' rights in public school. And that's a good little book that talks about what the rights of students are in the public school. You can get that by going to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, or call us today at 1-800-671-1776. That's 800-671-1776. So ask for the Patriots Handbook series. We're going to continue to roll out more booklets in that series. They're published by our own publishing arm, New Revolution Publishers. You can get that by going to Liberty Counsel's website. Also, make sure that you continue to pray for this case and for Liberty Counsel. And remember Liberty Counsel with your financial support as well. We are a financially supported ministry. We depend upon individual support to be able to help individuals like Elena and others around the country. For more information, go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org.